sights are set upon the land we love. And vibes are the cue for me. Fight, fight, fight. I'll guard the planet like a shield for a night. So no, I won't stop fighting till it's over. Won't run away. And you can bet that Earth will keep on turning. I'm making sure it's safe. Join in the face of my fists are sturdy in their faith. They'll never shake. Ain't nobody stopping their burn. Show what we're made of. I'll change the future with my nerves to one that we deserve for the world.
Previously on Dragon Ball Shinken, despite the malicious plan of the evil angels, Vod and Vados to eliminate Gohan, the Saiyan manages to surprise them all by defeating Vod, and now Vegito decides to help him get stronger to face the next challenges. But the angels won't give up on destroying the Saiyans, so what will be their next move? Find out now.
Hakai.
Episode 32, Killing Machine. In the world of the gods, both on the half of the planet that belongs to the Supreme Kai and on the half that belongs to the god of destruction, a great commotion takes place. The planet's waters stir, strong winds appear in the form of tornadoes and whirlpools. The skies shine with the appearance of lightning and lightning bolts, while powerful sounds of thunder echo across the great planet. In the center of the planet, a true whirlwind of energy can be seen. This is the result of Gohan's great power manifestation, who releases his energy as his hair grows and turns white. He faces Vegito, who is a few meters away, also staring at him, still in base form. Vegito comments to Gohan that his control over his power has grown a little in the last few days, and he congratulates his son for that. Vegito doesn't want to waste time, so he starts to concentrate his energy, which is released with a powerful flaming aura and electrical discharges that form around him. What do you think of this, Gohan? Do you think my Super Saiyan 2 is too much for you? In our last training, I beat you until you passed out using this transformation. Vegito asks his son in a provocative tone. Gohan remains serious, not allowing himself to be provoked. His response to Vegito is very calm and rational. The more we fight, the more I learn. I'm sure you'll have more difficulties now than the last time. Vegito likes the answer and tells Gohan that this is the spirit he wants to see. Here I come, Dad, Gohan warns. But to his surprise, it is Vegito who makes the first attack, extending one of his hands and firing a big bang attack at his son. Even though he was surprised, Gohan reacts quickly, reflexively kicking the energy fired at him, which is deflected into the sky and then leaves the planet. The counterattack is an energy sphere fired at Vegito, who is also quick to react by countering the shot with a blow. Vegeta responds with another energetic attack, this time opening one of his hands, forming a small sphere of ki in each finger, and firing them all at Gohan, who raises his ki to form a protection around him, in which Vegito's attacks hit and explode. Gohan then lunges at his father, attempting a kick. Vegito manages to hold this kick, but he is surprised by the large amount of force concentrated in this blow. To avoid being carried or destabilized by Gohan's strength, Vegito concentrates the power of his Super Saiyan 2 even more. Only then he gains enough strength to maneuver his son's body, throw him towards the ground. After doing this, Vegito tells Gohan that his control over his own strength is certainly improving, and he is already able to channel his power much better compared to when they started these training. However, he states that his son still has a lot to improve. You are strong and skilled, Gohan, but you still have a long way to go to reach the ideal level of control of your energy. You end up releasing too much ki when you attack, and this ends up making your attacks easier to predict. However, Gohan is determined to evolve. He ascends to the skies again, reaching his father to begin a fierce exchange of blows. I'll improve more and more, Dad, I promise, says the bestial Saiyan. The battle between them reaches a new level, with their energies being released intensely, while large discharges and explosions of power fill the skies at the same time, as hundreds and thousands of impact waves per second, highlighting the incredible speed with which they fight. From a distance, Gogeta, Chamras, and Shinken watch everything that happens. Chamras comments that Gohan fights well, but his control over his own power doesn't even compare to Vegito. Gogeta says that if Gohan uses the same transformation he used to defeat Vod, he could give Vegito a lot more work. Shinken agrees but remembers that Gohan is very afraid of using that transformation, as he cannot keep his mind sane when using it, and also he cannot access that power willingly. Gogeta impatiently comments that it has been several days since the fight against Vod, and since that day, Vegito has been training Gohan whenever he can. But even so, he's not making much progress in terms of mastering that power. Shinken, clearly much more patient than Gogeta, says that this is the kind of thing that should be done with patience. However, when Gohan finally masters that power, it will have been worth it. Gogeta says that since Gohan stopped working for the Galactic Patrol, most of the cases that would previously go to Gohan are going to him or Vegito. And since Vegito spends almost all of his time training Gohan, in the end he is the one working the most. Chamras then asks how Gogeta has time to stay there, watching if he has all of Gohan's work, and part of Vegito's work to do. Gogeta says that luckily a replacement took Gohan's less difficult jobs. A very qualified replacement. Very qualified replacement? Chamras repeats the words with a curious expression. Somewhere in the vast universe, a planet is attacked by an army of machines, which voraciously destroys the citizens and buildings of that people. With cannons in their hands, the robot fires at the planet's buildings and its populations, creating multiple explosions everywhere, making the entire planet look like a minefield. Soldiers from the planet's army try to defend everyone, but their weapons are useless against those machines, as the shots don't even scratch the robots, while the machines easily eliminate local warriors with their shots or physical blows. But then someone appears on the planet, and that person is Bulla. Fear not, citizens, the Galactic Patrol has arrived, she screams, filled with pride, feeling like a true superheroine. But her arrival only causes more despair in those people. The Galactic Patrol sent this skinny chick? One of the planet's inhabitants screamed. We resisted for so long, waiting for reinforcements from the patrol, and they sent this person? Another one says in agreement. Before long, everyone is screaming and crying in despair, taking away all the pride that Bulla felt just now. Oh man, I'm totally out of respect, she says to herself. Without wasting time, one of the robots attacks Bulla. By then, to the complete surprise of the people of that planet, she advances against the robot with a jump and an ultra-powerful punch. And with that single blow, she penetrates the robot's metallic armor, which seemed impenetrable to the weapons of that planet. After being pierced by Bulla's blow, the robot's internal mechanism is seriously affected, culminating in its complete destruction in an explosion. For a while, a silence of disbelief takes over that place, but later, this silence is filled with screams of joy and celebration. That's how I like it, Bulla says, that proud smile returning to her face. She transforms into Super Saiyan and then attacks those machines with confidence, easily destroying the robots, whether with physical attacks or energy attacks. As she does this, she receives cheers from the citizens, who place their hope for survival in that girl. But suddenly another machine comes to the place, which has a totally different appearance from the one Bulla's facing. As she takes a good look at this new enemy, she reflects, I can feel this robot's power, but its air of superiority over others is noticeable. It's definitely much stronger than the machines I've faced so far. Unlike the other robots she was facing, this one can speak, and then says, I am Wilo, model number 1027. Captain of this battle machine squadron. You undermine our mission, so you must be destroyed. Even deducing that the power of this new robot is greater than that of the others, the Saiyan patroller remains confident and says that she will tear him to pieces, as she did with the others. Wheelo number 1027 goes on the attack. Bulla anticipates and fires an energy attack at him before the enemy arrives. But to her surprise, the robot receives her wave of power head-on and manages to resist without major damage. He also launches an energy attack, but she quickly deflects it, letting it explode elsewhere. Wheelo takes advantage of the time it takes her to dodge this attack, and gets even closer to try another one. However, the girl is quick to escape the energy shot again, which only hits the ground. After that, she flies under him, leaving a blow that causes the robot to become unbalanced and fall. After knocking down the enemy, she hovers above him to launch a sequence of ki blasts at Wheelo, who receives the multiple shots defenseless. However, to Bulla's frustration, Willow also didn't suffer major damage from the sequence of explosion, as he protected himself with a kind of electrical energy shield, and that's why he managed to get up intact. The robot retaliates with an even more powerful and faster energy laser. Due to the speed of the attack, Bulla is unable to dodge it and must try to contain it with a Kamehameha. The dispute starts eventually, but soon the machine's advantage becomes evident with his energy laser advancing against the patroller's ki wave. It gets to the point where Bulla starts to be consumed by the enemy's power. However, the Saiyan still has more to show. If you think that this is all my power, you are very mistaken. You junk bot, the young warrior screamed. Summoning a large amount of ki, Bulla makes the power of her Kamehameha multiply, pushing Willow's energy back towards him and running over the robot with her power. After destroying all this energetic discharge head-on, the Willow 1027 model is completely destroyed. After all this, it is possible to see why Bulla has suddenly increased her attack power. She's now transformed into Super Saiyan 2. The citizens of that planet who were previously tense, thinking that she would be defeated by this robot, begin to scream with joy and relief. Already certain of her victory, Bulla says, now that the captain has been destroyed, taking out the others will be a breeze. She then begins to make several laps around the planet at incredible speed, destroying all the robots she sees along the way, leaving explosions and debris from the battle machine scattered everywhere. In less than an hour, the entire robot army was completely decimated. After all the robots are destroyed, Bulla prepares to return to where most of the planet's inhabitants are, to receive the applause and flattery of the people. But before she can do so, she receives a message from Commander Jaco by communicator. The commander orders her to immediately return to the Galactic Patrol base. Bulla tries to insist that he let her stay there a little longer, but Jaco doesn't want any small talk and tells her to come back now. Bulla uses the teleportation technology to return to the Galactic Patrol base, more specifically to the main hall, where Commando Jaco remains surrounded by monitors, monitoring the patrollers' other missions. "Geez, Commander, you told me to get out of there at the best time," she protests. Jaco says her job is to eliminate threats, not show off. Bulla reminds him that she is not a field agent, but from the technology area, so the least he can do is let her enjoy the good times of a mission in the field. Obviously, the commander ignores this claim and says that they have incidents in other places that are currently being attacked by these robots. Bulla sighs and says that apparently she won't be able to rest anytime soon. Jaco confirms and says that the robot attacks clearly have a connection between them and they need to find out who is behind it. Bulla asks who he thinks is behind these attacks. He says he doesn't know, but the only certainty he has is that is someone very powerful, since not just anyone could command so many machines that are so strong. In the Fortress of the Evil Angels, Bulla's exploits against the robots are seen by someone through a hologram. It seems those inconveniences from the Galactic Patrol have started to interfere with my operation, says the person watching what is being shown on the hologram. Well, I expected that sooner or later this would happen, but I was hoping it would take longer. The person watching is the angel Kari, who is sitting in a chair that is being cleaned by Moscow, who in this reality is not dressed as a god of destruction and appears to be some type of domestic robot. Kari gets up from his chair, summons his staff, and using it goes to another dimension. In the dimension that Kari goes to, there is a fortress, which he enters. Inside this fortress there is a laboratory, and in that laboratory there is a woman working. As soon as Kari arrives, he asks, 21, how is the protest progressing? The woman, whose name is Android 21, responds, My lord, the project is progressing well and will be ready soon. I'm doing my best to quickly enter all the genetic data that is being sent. Kari approaches a capsule and takes a good look at what's inside it. Approaching him, Android 12 comments, My lord, I feel you are more anxious. Kari justifies this by explaining that recently the Galactic Patrol started fighting his robots, and this is making it difficult to collect genetic data. Android 21 watches him with an attentive look. It seems to me that this is worrying you a lot, my lord. I never thought that you, an angel, could be worried about mere mortals. Kari responds by saying the following. Vados thought that way and was humiliated by Vegito. And Wad, who also underestimated mortals, was killed by that guy named Gohan. I won't make the same mistakes. When they come to me, I will have an extremely powerful ally to help me. Inside the capsule that Kari and 21 look at is the project they are working on. Kari smiles and says, When Cell Ultra is ready and fighting alongside me, no one will be able to defeat me. Days later, training in the world of the gods continues, with Gohan and Vegito engaging in increasingly intense combat. The two combatants surround that giant space, one half of which is made up of the sacred planet of the Supreme Kai, and the other half is made up of the planet of the God of Destruction. Both halves are considerably damaged due to the multiple powerful attacks they execute against each other, which end up impacting the planet. The two move in the form of flashes, leaving explosions of impact and power everywhere. At one point, one of them suffers a serious fall, going from the sky to the ground with such violence that it opens a crater on the planet. Surprisingly, the one who fell is Vegito, who is under a lot of pressure in this fight. Gohan, Beast, lands next to his father, and unlike Vegito, he doesn't show many injuries or fatigue. Vegito, who was transformed into Super Saiyan 2, returns to his base form despite everything. He's smiling and praises his son, saying that Gohan has evolved spectacularly in the last few days. Congratulations, Gohan! Your control over bestial power grew a lot, and in addition to mastering your power better, you also became stronger. A few days ago, my Super Saiyan 2 was more than enough to defeat you, but now I won't be able to pressure you with that form. Vegito concentrates his ki. The rising power of the fused warrior makes the whole world vibrate. As his hair begins to grow, electrical sparks appear around his body, and his energy reveals itself in the form of flames even more intense than before. Vegito then shows off his Super Saiyan 3, displaying his overwhelming power that shakes the entire environment. Gohan is surprised by this and asks his father, "But Dad, you don't like using this transformation because it uses a lot of energy, right?" Vegito responds, "Well, I don't need to worry about that here, since Shinken can restore my energy whenever I want. Right now what I want is for you to learn how to deal with every level of mine, including this one." Gohan says if that's how his father prefers, that's fine with him. From a certain distance, these two are watched by the Supreme Kai Zamasu, the God of Destruction Chamras, the Angel Daishinken, and Gogeta. Seeing that these two were ready to increase the level of combat even further, Zamasu becomes very worried and asks, "Mr. Vegito, Mr. Gohan, please don't damage the planet anymore." This is Zamasu, who is in charge of repairing the planet after each training session by Gohan and Vegito. And considering that the level of destruction only increases with each fight, he is already getting very tired of this task. But Chamras, who is on his side, says to the Supreme Kai, "Zamasu, stop complaining. You can fix this mess later. At this moment, it is more important that this boy grows stronger to help fight the enemies." As he prepares to continue, Vegito tells Gohan to be ready, because using this transformation he ends up not controlling as precisely how much power he uses, so his attacks may end up being more exaggerated. Daishinken tells Vegito that he can hit Gohan as much as he wants, because in the end he will continue healing the boy. This is how Vegito and Gohan are able to train so intensely and so frequently, thanks to the angel's restorative powers. Gogeta is watching everyone a little bored. "Oh man, just watching is getting a little boring. Maybe I'll ask to fight a little too." He takes Vegito's dimensional radar that is kept with him and looks at the silent radar. It's been a few days since that radar beeped. Could it be that no more opponents at my level have emerged? And is the Galactic Patrol managing to deal with everything? He wonders. Maybe the Angels decided to keep a low profile after Bod's defeat. Or they're planning something. On a gigantic planet in this titanic universe, a very fierce battle takes place. In the center of this planet there is a large base, and close to this base a very peculiar combat is happening, where a veritable army of robots is being devastated by a single person. The person responsible for this annihilation of machines is Bulla, who transformed into Super Saiyan 2, fights hundreds of enemies at once. The robots attack the Saiyan in all possible ways, from physical blows to different types of shots, but she manages to escape or resist all attacks as she retaliates with very strong physical blows or powerful energy blasts that destroy the robots. In addition to common battle machines, she also faces Wheelo model robots, but with the power of Super Saiyan 2, she can also destroy these opponents with some ease, although this requires more energy in her attacks. In the midst of the veritable mass execution of robots that she promotes, Bulla looks at the base from which they're all coming, the heart of the enemy. She shouts with determination toward the enemy base, declaring that they can send as many as they want. She will destroy them. Inside the base, in the control room, a robot very different from the others leads this army. His expression watching this massacre is not good at all. Suddenly, the angel Kari appears before him through a magical hologram. Kari is in his fortress watching everything from his throne, with Android 21 by his side. "General Rudo, what is the situation?" the angel asks. The machine called General Rudo is surprised by the angel's call, and is noticeably filled with fear. Despite fearing the Angel's reaction, Rudo reports the situation, explaining that all their bases throughout the universe have either been attacked or are completely under attack by the Galactic Patrol, and that their armies are almost completely destroyed. At that moment, the main base is being attacked by the Saiyan girl, who has destroyed so many of their robots in recent times. Kari is furious and reprimands his servant. "You idiot! You were raised to be the general of my troops. Use all the power given to you, and at least honor us by destroying this girl." Rudo lowers his head. "Yes, sir," he responds, embarrassed. Bulla continues to eliminate combat robots by the dozens when, suddenly, they are all stopping their attack, which leaves her a little surprised and suspicious. General Rudo leaves the main base, and it doesn't take long to reach her. He stares at the young warrior with great irritation. "So, you're the Saiyan patroller who has been eliminating my troops. Seeing you up close, I realize how young you are. I can't believe a brat like you did all this damage to our army." Bulla feels very proud when hearing this, as she has just discovered that she is becoming famous. Not sharing her excitement, the robot presents himself with a sudden expression. "I am General Rudo, commander of the armies you have been destroying." As she displays the fiery electric aura of her Super Saiyan 2, Bulla says, "So if I destroy you, the attacks will stop, right?" "You can try," Rudo responds. General Rudo starts at a high level, firing an extremely powerful blast of energy at Bulla, who responds with nothing less. The powers of the two clash, culminating in a gigantic explosion whose shockwave destroys all the battle machines and Wheelo models scattered around, putting an end to that entire robotic army with a single explosion. After such a powerful explosion resulting from the clash of her and Rudo's power, Bulla realizes how powerful this robot is, and that his power is incomparable to that of other machines. Bulla understands that this fight will not be easy. General Rudo advances against Bulla with everything he has, and the two begin a fierce fight, filling the entire place with hundreds of impact waves and explosions. The result of the physical and energy attacks they launch against each other. Bulla manages to take the advantage for a moment, landing a series of blows on Rudo, who reacts by surprising Bulla by throwing his hand towards her. Bulla is hit squarely by General Rudo's hand, which hits her hard and destabilizes the girl. After that, the same hand, guided by Rudo, returns and hits her again, carrying her across the planet, leaving a huge trail of destruction everywhere. Once he stuns Bulla with such a strong and sudden attack, Rudo's hand grabs her by the head and brings her back to him. With a merciless grip, Rudo begins to crush the patroller's head while laughing and saying that he will make her pay for everything she did. But Bulla doesn't give up, and then starts firing a series of energy attacks at close range against Rudo's abdomen, who has no choice but to let go of her, only to receive a blow that sends him to the ground. Bulla then finishes her counterattack by concentrating her energy and firing it into a powerful Kamehameha, which, when Rudo sees it coming at him, screams in fear of the attack. The energy torrent hits home, causing a monstrous explosion that spreads across a vast area of that planet, showing the great power concentrated in that attack. Proving to be a very resistant machine, Rudo survives that shot. However, his body shows clear signs of damage. Bulla praises him and admits that she spared no effort on the Kamehameha. She says that Rudo is certainly much more powerful than the robot she has faced so far. Even so, he won't be able to defeat her. The general disagrees and reveals to her that this is still a long way from being his full power. Rudo releases a large amount of energy, creating a powerful vortex around him, mixing energy, wind, and powerful electric discharges. His body begins to change, gaining extra layers of armor, and also a drill in one of his arms. General Rudo reveals a powerful transformation. Bulla is on alert, recognizing that her enemy's power has increased to a more worrying level. The Saiyan raises her Super Saiyan 2's ki even further, saying that it doesn't matter that Rudo has gotten stronger. She won't go back. The two then resume the fight, now increasing the intensity of their physical and energetic attacks much more, shaking the entire structure of that planet and causing a true avalanche of destruction. Bulla fires a barrage of ki attacks at Rudo, but he easily blocks it with an energy dome that forms around his body. Rudo's response comes soon after, when the robot opens his mouth and fires a beam of green energy at her, which she manages to dodge, and then sees that when this energy hits the ground, it turns everything into metal. "What a strange ability," she comments when seeing what happens. Seeing that Bulla escaped this attack, the robot general extends his drill arm towards her, and makes this drill gain a gigantic proportion, causing a powerful drilling in the vast area of the planet's ground. With his drill showing piercing power enough to destroy both the metal created by him and the common ground, Bulla manages to avoid this attack too, just barely. She impressedly admits that this attack was really dangerous. General Rudo fires that weird beam at her again, and Bulla, knowing that she can't be hit by it, escapes as best she can. General Rudo chases her, continuing with the shots, while the Saiyan runs away while trying to dodge. As Bulla dodges these rays, they hit the planet, and before long, that entire planet becomes a metal planet. Earth, water, mountains, trees, everything turns into metal. Bulla continues to run away from the shots. However, she starts to get tired until finally her body is hit. The thick metallic crust begins to spread across her body, and Bulla falls from the sky, reaching the ground in despair. Damn, this way I'll turn into a statue. Realizing that she has no choice, Bulla begins to concentrate her power, and now releases her Super Saiyan aura with even more intensity, with her flames extending further and the electrical blast coming even more ferociously as her hair starts to grow. The now metallic planet trembles, impressing General Rudo, who sees the metal around Bulla starting to boil. Not intending to allow Bulla to free herself, Rudo makes another attack with his drill arm, a fatal blow. But Bulla at the last moment breaks free from the metallic crust in an explosion of power. And now free, to General Rudo's complete shock, she throws a punch at him, and with his bare hand, Bulla Super Saiyan 3 shatters the robot's drill arm. In the world of the gods, Gogeta feels Bulla's energy and pays attention to this. Well, it looks like that girl is using a very high amount of power. I better watch out for that. He looks at Gohan and Vegito, where the Beast Form and Super Saiyan 3 fight in an absolutely intense exchange of blows, making that entire huge planet go through unimaginable catastrophes, causing great despair in Zamasu, who will have to fix everything later. Even though Vegito greatly increased his power from Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 and had a lot of advantage in the fight at first, Gohan is already managing to adapt to it, proving once again his surprising evolution capacity. Seeing the way the two are so focused on each other, Gogeta thinks, it seems like Vegito is very focused on Gohan right now, so I better pay attention to the girl. Gogeta closes his eyes in an act of concentration. After witnessing an extraordinary increase in power in Bulla, General Rudo becomes very angry and complains. Damn, where do you Saiyans get so much power from? Sorry, it's just that I have somewhat privileged genetics, she boasts, her long golden hair blowing in the wind. What do you mean by that? What privileged genetics are these? Rudo asks. Simple. My father is just the most powerful Saiyan in the entire universe, she responds. When he hears this, General Rudo seems to notice something. Kari, who watches everything that is happening through his magic together with Android 21, is also very attentive when Bulla says this. Is her father the most powerful Saiyan in this universe? Kari repeats what Bulla just said, intrigued. She can only be referring to Vegito, since that man called Gogeta doesn't belong to this universe. Another Android 21 deduces. Kari then gets very excited. So Vegito has a daughter too. This couldn't be more perfect. Gogeta also monitors this fight. He does this through his extremely advanced telepathic ability provided by Shinken. Using his telepathy, he can hear everything Bulla and Rudo talk about. Something similar to what Kai does thanks to his special antennas, but with even greater effectiveness. After hearing this part of their conversation, Gogeta teleports away. Chamras and Daishinken notice him leaving and become curious. At his base, Kari can't contain his excitement. Perfect! Vegito also has a daughter. I bet Vados and Vod didn't know that. He says ecstatic. With this girl, my plans will come true much faster. I will capture her immediately. But then Kari sees through his hologram someone arriving with a teleport at Bulla's side. Damn, it can't be. Bulla sees Gogeta arrive at her side with the teleportation and gets curious. She asks what Gogeta is doing there, since considering Rudo's power level, he's definitely not a job for Gogeta. Gogeta explains that he only intends to observe and will not intervene in the fight. Bulla likes to hear this, but she confidently says that Gogeta's curiosity won't last long, as in a few seconds this guy will be finished. Gogeta disagrees and then tells her, don't be hasty. From this guy's expression, I can see that he still hides power. After informing Bulla about this, he addresses General Rudo. Hey, you still have more power, don't you? Use it at once. Bulla is surprised and asks General Rudo if this is true. But General Rudo is more worried about something else. He is unsure whether he should continue with this fight or not, as the situation changed with Gogeta's arrival. At the Evil Angel's base, Android 21 asks what Kari is going to do now. He replies very thoughtfully, damn, that bastard Gogeta is a very inconvenient guy. Now that he's arrived, it'll be too risky for me to go there. Kari thinks for a few more seconds, until he finally makes his decision. General Rudo remains still without knowing what to do. But not for long, as Kari speaks to his mind through telepathy, giving the following instructions. General Rudo, listen carefully. I want you to continue the fight against this girl and discover the extent of her powers. This bastard called Gogeta has made it clear that he does not intend to intervene in the fight, and it's not like him or Vegito to lie. So for now, fight carefree. After listening to these instructions, General Rudo responds, also mentally, understood, sir. However, as they talk, Gogeta remains very attentive, staring at Rudo. Did he hear this conversation? After spending some time in silence, General Rudo finally gives his answer to the Saiyans. Alright, as long as you are fair and don't fight at the same time, I will continue this battle and show my real power. Rudo points his hand at the planet's ground, which was transformed into metal by him. As the robot begins to emanate electricity, strange wires come out of the ground and wrap around his body. And at the moment, the general begins to be enveloped by a thick metallic crust. Bulla, who previously had a completely calm and confident expression, now looks at her opponent more closely, realizing that his power is increasing a lot. Gogeta, on the other hand, is not surprised, as he had already realized that Rudo had more power. In the next second, the robot general's body takes on a completely new form, a metallic form. After being transformed, he asks, "What do you think of that Saiyan girl?" Even though she is surprised by this new increase in the enemy's power, Bulla remains confident and responds by saying that Rudo can use whatever form he wants. She will destroy him no matter what. Bulla and Rudo resume the fight, meeting each other and starting an exchange of blows while ascending to the sky in the form of a whirlwind of power. Gogeta just watches them, very entertained to finally be watching a different fight. Bulla and Rudo unleash a rain of energy attacks on the planet, all of which are attacks fired at each other that don't find their target, and then hit the ground, causing several explosions that destroy the environment. The two advance towards each other. He tears through the sky in the form of blue energy, and she in the form of yellow energy. The meeting between the two is so aggressive that it generates an explosion of power that destroys everything around them, and causes a strong wave of impact to reverberate throughout the planet. Bulla fires a key attack at Rudo. He makes his body dissipate in the form of liquid metal to later reappear elsewhere. Bulla observes his ability with great concern. In a fraction of a second, he can go from an extremely rigid metal state to a liquid state. However, that's not the only problem. Rudo, manipulating the metallic objects on the planet, makes dozens of beams project towards Bulla, who tries to defend herself by striking these beams away. However, she is inevitably surrounded by all those objects, which transform into a large metallic sphere. Then, in the form of a malleable metal, General Rudo protects himself against the dome, in which he trapped Bulla, and hits the Saiyan with all his strength, carrying her from the sky to the ground with a very strong attack. Bulla is noticeably sore after receiving this blow, and then she complains. "Damn, you're starting to annoy me with these tricks." General Rudo says that no matter what she does, he will be able to continue recovering, while she will lose more and more energy. Her defeat is just a matter of time. After thinking for a moment, Bulla says, "You're right. All the metal on this planet serves as fuel for you. Using this metal, you recover your body from injuries and also renew your energy. As long as there is metal nearby, you will continue fighting tirelessly and will be almost immortal. So I've already made my decision. I'm going to destroy this entire planet." Rudo says that it won't be that simple, and that after he covered this planet with his metal, it became much more resistant than an ordinary planet, and will not be destroyed by any attack. However, Bulla, who is now entirely surrounded by the Super Saiyan's fiery energy, responds by saying that this certainly won't be just any attack. Gogeta realizes what she's intending to do, and becomes a little more serious. Rudo notices that the amount of energy that Bulla is releasing is really large, and he starts to get worried. He accumulates energy in his hands, and says that whatever she is intending to do, he will not allow it. But before he could stop it, Bulla shouts, "Final explosion!" The Saiyan's power is finally dispersed in a colossal explosion of pure energy, spreading far beyond where they are, completely destroying that planet taken over by General Rudo's metal and spreading across a large part of space. When the huge explosion ends, Gogeta remains standing with his arms crossed, without showing any injuries even though he was hit. Bulla, on the other hand, is breathless and injured, in addition to having regressed to base form. But the one who suffered the most was certainly General Rudo, whose body was almost completely torn to pieces. "It's not possible!" the general exclaims in complete shock. "She had enough power to destroy all that metal created by me?" The person who responds is Gogeta, who explains, "Bulla's power in Super Saiyan 3 was always superior to yours, even in your metallic form. However, she encountered two major problems in this fight. The first was dealing with your manipulation of the planet's metal, and the second was that she had to fight while continuously containing her power to avoid the excessive energy drain that Super Saiyan 3 normally provokes." "Are you saying she was more powerful than me all along?" Rudo asks in complete frustration. "Of course I do," Gogeta responds. "That's why I didn't mind letting her fight alone against you. I always knew that her combat potential was greater than yours. And also, I let her use this explosion technique because I knew her body would resist. Unlike what happened to Vegeta from my reality when he used it on Majin Buu. General Rudo begins to curse the whole situation, and recognizing that he is no longer able to fight, he turns to Kari through telepathy, begging, "Sir, please take me back." Kari hears his general's cry, and then, addressing Android 21, he gives the order, "Do it at once." Android 21 takes a remote control from her clothes, and then presses the only button on that control. An alert begins to be issued by General Rudo's body, who knows the meaning of this alert and begins to scream for forgiveness, filled with despair. After that, his body is completely destroyed in an explosion. Bulla is surprised by that, but Gogeta isn't. The person who was commanding him certainly chose to destroy this machine that he considered useless. He explains to the girl. Bulla says this is a shame, as she would like to examine his mechanisms with her mother to create a machine as powerful as him, or even more. With everything over, Gogeta looks at her with a proud smile, noting the following. She is very cunning to fight, and also very skilled. Bulma's intelligence combined with Vegito's battle aptitude did her good. Kari sits thoughtfully on his throne. Android 21 asks why he didn't bring General Rudo back, since she could fix him and maybe make improvements. Kari says that now that the Battle Machine Army and the Wheelo models have all been destroyed by the Saiyan Girl and the other members of the Galactic Patrol, General Rudo wouldn't be so useful, since he was created to lead the robotic army. It will take a while for us to produce a new army. When that happens, we can build a model similar to Rudo. The angel compliments. Then Kari says that even if they produce a new army, now that they have caught the attention of the Galactic Patrol and Gogeta, it would be useless as this new army would be destroyed as well. At this point, they need to focus their efforts on finding an effective way to deal with them. Kari makes a teleportation, taking him and 21 out of the room and making them appear in the Fortress Laboratory right in front of the capsule of that project they called Cell Ultra. Looking almost hypnotized at that developing android, Kari states, "Our best option to defeat the Galactic Patrol, Gogeta and Vegito, is this android that will be my masterpiece." Android 21, on the other hand, is reluctant. "But my lord, the project is still incomplete." However, Kari displays an ecstatic smile when responding, "When one last ingredient is added, it will be done." Android 21 understands what he means, but asks how they will do what he is planning with Gogeta on the radar. Using them, Kari says, "Looking to one of my sides, where a row of capsules with something lies inside. Do you intend to use them?" Android 21 asks, surprised. Kari confirms, "Yes." Finally, the extermination team will be used again, and they will not fail. After his machine army is defeated by the Galactic Patrol, especially Bulla, Kari now intends to appeal and use what he calls the extermination team. Why is he so interested in Bulla? And how does he intend to bring life into a project called Cell Ultra, which the Angels consider his masterpieces? Find out in the next episodes of Dragon Ball Shinken.